are back on It Takes a Village. I'm Jenny Schultz-Thomas, and I am here with a wonderful, exciting guest, Jean Mason. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thrilled to be here.
It takes a village. So we talk on this podcast about community, belonging, about really the deeper questions that sometimes fade into the background. I'm not one of those people who like small talk, Jean. What about you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, let's go deep.
We're going to go deep.
Let's do it.
Right
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Like we're diving in.
Absolutely.
So I'm honored to have you here and to welcome you. This is Jean Mason, Omaha born and raised. I would say raised is sort of an operative, interesting question that we can dive deep into, right? Because who and what way raises us, right?
Well, and to be fair, I was born in Japan.
Oh, and she was born
There's
in
that.
Japan. So
Well,
let's
there's
just
that.
get right off the chute, Jenny.
Yeah.
Get it right.
No, it's okay.
Omaha raised artist Jean. Jean has lived all over the world and the country, from Santa Fe, actually Albuquerque, to Tampa, Seattle, to Austin. But you always carried your Nebraska roots with you, which I think is really beautiful.
Well, so my dad was actually in the Air Force. And
Okay.
so we lived all over the place as a
All over the
child.
place.
And then Nebraska didn't come into my world until I was about 17. I met my husband at University of Kansas, started coming up here. And so, yeah, now I'm going to be 65 next month. So that's a long time. So I'm going to go with those Nebraska roots.
No, but I mean, roots are interesting. My dad was not in the military, but he was a builder of big things like tunnels and ski resorts and things like that. So we moved a lot, and people always said, "Oh, are your parents, are they in the military?" I said, "No, I don't have that story. I have some random other story, like a dad who wants to conquer things and build holes in things."
Pretty cool.
But you do, like,
Yeah.
moving a lot, then you have to kind of, where is the place? What is the place? Who are the people? Like,
Right.
where were you raised and what raised you up, right? And that's
Absolutely.
interesting.
And it becomes a very interesting question of like, what are the influences that made a difference to you? Where do you hearken back to your ancestors and the stories that you know from your family? Family becomes very important.
Yes.
But in the military, there's still a little bit of a family connectedness too, because of the kind of jobs that our dads had. Some of my best friends would be, my best friend from second grade, didn't see her for years. She showed up again in high school.
Yeah, and then you just
because
caught
our
right
dads
back up.
had similar jobs. It's no big deal.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Right.
where have you been
Yeah,
for the last,
yeah.
5
But
places?
Omaha is definitely my home.
Okay.
And my siblings are actually a little bit jealous of that because I have a place that I
yeah.
call home.
Yeah, which is huge.
It is a big deal. It is
a
a
big deal.
really, really big deal, and it feels really good to be back here.
Oh, we're so glad. Well, we're so happy that you are here. Your career is kind of one of those that has taken you all over the place, but really it's your deep spirit of enthusiasm for curating new experiences. I've only known you for a month.
I know. We had so much fun.
In
Oh my
passing, and it's
God.
been so much fun. And let's just say that as an artist, that's the number one reason that you are gracing us with your amazing talent and presence. But we are in this place of creating community through the exploration of imagination here at Countryside.
Oh, I
and
love
one
that.
of those ways is art on the wall, art that interrogates, art that encourages. And so you have gifted us this opportunity to begin this process of showing art in a way that allows us to tell our story in a new way. So tell us about your exhibit
Okay.
that we're calling Liminal Spaces. And I think you want to tell us about, why liminal? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yes, tell us
Well,
about this.
it is very, very interesting. We've been gone for 15 years, and we're back
Okay.
now. And so part of this chatter was with Christine,
Yes.
Christine. She has written poetry to my work for a lot of years. And so we have this long-standing relationship. She was also aware of some of the paintings that are showing here today that have never been shown because they're from my personal stash. So this is a very interesting stretch. As I walk through the paintings, it makes me realize how much art speaks to the time and the place and the feeling. Even with my own work, where I'm like, oh, wow, it takes me right back there.
Oh, wow.
Which is very interesting. And we also love this situation with the art forms crossing over. I mean, most of my paintings are music. They have been for a lot of years. I mean, even since I was a teenager. Music and theater. I was a theater designer, and I used to sketch in the back while they would practice. And all of the actors used to laugh that I could stand in for them because I knew every song. I knew every line because they keep doing it over and over again.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm back there just, hammering things and painting things. So all of those art forms really do cross over to me. Mm-hmm. They're all, art is the purest expression of being human. It's emotion. All of it is. Now, they dance into each other's paths a lot. And they inspire each other, and words inspire people. And I think about like what a gift it is for you to be able to stand up each week and share words that send the world out to make a difference, right? As a painter, I don't feel like I get as much, I'm more a little bit of a one-on-one. I work with one person at a time who stands there in front of my painting and hopefully sees it in a way that matters to them, no matter what I might have seen when I painted it. I do love that people come in with their own interpretation of like, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. And I do feel like it's really important. As a child, I remember being very aware of, the national news and like that I couldn't fix things. Wow. And I mean, I'm talking like I was young-ish. Yeah. And my mom used to say, no, you need to just paint your own corner. And you have this thing. And I remember thinking, that's really shallow. But now I envision that if my corner is sunny yellow, my corner was always yellow. Yeah, even when I was a child, I knew it was yellow.
It's a chakra.
Yes. It is. I think there is a thing of if we are peaceful and centered and whole and complete, then we dance with the world in a different way than if we're upset and angry. So it's like this one-on-one thing, right? Where you can make a difference by getting yourself in the right headspace first, and then you go out into the world and ripple out kindness and love and all those things that we hope people will do.
That's right.
Yeah.
The sunny corner. I love you talking about that. And you talking about music, kind of always being the thing early on, right? Music is one of those things that you can either do individually, right? You can put your Walkman on when you're young, or you can sing in a beautiful choir, but you always have the ability to listen to the music in your own soul. And sometimes it comes out. So talking about, and your mom, I love that too, right? Paint your own corner. Right, if you paint your own corner and everyone is starting with that sort of deep sense of belonging in self, paint your own corner, then people looking around will see all the corners are pointing towards love and light, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
You're grounded, and then you're grounding someone else who's invited into that corner, one painting at a time.
One painting at a time.
Music, and I do want to invite our person right here. We have some people right here. Yeah. So this is
see one if we can get these guys to come up.
Yeah. Here. This is one of your musical earlier pieces with two awesome guys playing music here. It looks like they're jamming.
Let's push them up a little bit so we can see their music. Maybe does that seem?
Look at that in their hands. This reminds me of the two cellos. That group, the two guys who've been playing as best friends forever, and then they jam on there. This has this great sense of we're doing our own thing together, and we painted our own corners.
And there's that depth that the musicians have when they're really involved and they're really I always put them very close together. My musician friends are like, we couldn't play like that.
That close?
It's like, yeah, that's true. I know that.
I love it.
But there's that intensity of that creative spirit, right? Where they're involved and they're jamming together. And I think that there we go. I think that is true with all of the art forms. They say people who sing together in a choir bond in a different way. Right. And the old tribal drum beat where your heartbeats like sync up, right? I also teach ukulele, and you have a giant like drum circle of people like banging out these songs. And,
I have a ukulele, and it's definitely banging.
It is. It's a rhythm instrument.
Exactly.
Ultimately.
Yes.
And it's simple enough to play. And if you don't know a chord, then you just leave. You don't play it.
Yeah.
Everybody else will. They
exactly.
will. Or maybe not. Sometimes there's a hole in the music. So.
I love it.
But though any of those things, any of those creative things, all dance off of each other, right? And they'll blend together in different ways. They inspire each other. music inspires art, art inspires music and poetry, and speakers and book writers throw all of it into our mix in our little yellow corner.
Yes.
You read enough really inspiring books and your yellow corner gets brighter, and then you go out and you spread it to other people. You invite them into your corner. And I think in the mix of my life, one of the beautiful things about when we left Omaha a few years to take care of my dad, we moved to Tampa. We had a grandchild in Seattle. Then we went to Austin. We followed them. I met incredible people. And I learned incredible new things. And sharing that has always been, I've always been a teacher. I used to be a Montessori preschool teacher, and I taught art in the junior high. And I've been teaching. I have worked up at QLI. We do some fun things, it's sort of cloaked in art therapy basis, but it's just fun. We're just having fun. And now to come back to Omaha with all these new fun things that I've picked up to share with people, because it's that whole thing too of, here's my little yellow corner, but how can I share this with other people? It's fascinating to me with, the basic mindfulness thing and, be still and listen and seek awe and all the things that radiate positivity. We tend to think everybody knows this stuff, right? Because you read those books, I read those books, but a lot of people haven't had time to absorb that or live it fully because they're young, they're busy. It's a very, very, the world is very busy and very cluttered. And to find space to say, I'm just going to be still for a little bit, that's where most of the classes I'm teaching nowadays are about that, about sharing that little piece of, wisdom that I've picked up from the people in Seattle and Austin.
Yeah.
So, I teach this watercolor meditation class. It's basically abstract. You're watching paint dry, literally. It's like
that's
pooling, and we sit like in a dark environment by candlelight. So there's no judgment about, it's not perfect. Nobody ever said it should be. In fact, perfection really will mess you up.
Yeah. Oh, for
that's
sure.
That's like, don't try.
Don't try.
But and the other thing that I've brought back to Omaha is this urban sketching, which is a sense of community. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's not really about sketching at all. It's about, right now we're just meeting once a month. We meet all over Omaha. It's like a flash mob.
Yeah.
You just show up at the place that it is.
Well, you were at Countryside.
Yes, on our second meeting.
Summer,
and we
right?
we were so thrilled to have air conditioning because it was hotter than we planned to. And yes, it was wonderful. So that was just our second meeting.
Okay.
And we had maybe about 25, 30 people here. Yeah. It was really nice.
It's amazing. So people these are hobby artists who really don't have the time to fully
and maybe most of them are not artists at all.
Yeah, they're just
regular people who maybe wanted to try something ever. You can bring, some people have sketchbooks and watercolors. Some people have a marker and a hunk of paper. You can literally pull something out of the trash and draw on it.
That's awesome.
Some of those coolest drawings
I'm
are
sure.
like on a tea bag or something, it really is. People bring children. It's, but I'm finding that a lot of the young people in particular, in my era, we talked to people at the grocery store, we talked to people on the bus, we did,
Right.
And nowadays, everybody has their music in their ears or they're looking at their phone. And if you talk to them, they're like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you talking to me? It's a different world. It's a different world. And I think loneliness is part of what happens then.
Oh.
So anything that creates a sense of community where people are comfortable with each other is important. Yeah. So like with the sketchers, you bring a camping chair and you sit down and you sketch and you don't feel like you have to talk, but you can talk. And then we stay after, we call it snacky hour. So you stay after, you bring a little snack.
Snacky,
and after
Montessori
we do.
Snacky.
Yeah, it is. It's just like that, right?
Cute.
And it's just, so we draw for a couple of hours. Then we do what's called a throwdown at noon. We take a picture of what everybody did. We post it to the social media sites, and we're part of a global community.
Oh wow!
So it is global. We will be accepted in the global community in 1 month. We had to be up and running for 6 months before I could apply. And so I'm really excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
what a sense of it takes a village, right? Is this whole idea that we are doing life and it's hard enough.
Yeah.
that we have kind of lost, like you're saying, the world is a different place. We've lost sort of this deep dependency on having permission to say we need each other.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Right. Because everybody's like, oh, I'm independent. I live alone.
I'm
I've got
good.
my own thing. I pay my mortgage. It's like, yes, you do, but you're lonely. You don't have anybody to have dinner with.
You do, right. Was it the Surgeon General who said loneliness was an epidemic a couple years ago, like saying,
And he said something about that. It's like almost worse for your health than like smoking a certain amount of cigarettes or something
yes,
like
a
that.
little
It was like, it's
alarmist.
bad for
it's
you.
bad for you.
It's bad for your soul.
Your soul.
To not have anybody to share the world with.
Yes.
And so these silly little things I'm doing, and even like with my watercolor meditation class, it's just a 3-hour splash. I pair some, the basic breathing techniques, again, things that you think people know already, but I'm finding that they don't. How to just settle and calm and feel peaceful. And then we do a little bit of watercolor. And I tell everybody at the end, now take this out and share it with anybody. Share it with somebody that needs a place. What's beautiful about it is that this journaling technique is essentially what it is. I tell people to set it up in a shoebox, leave it in your kitchen, just have some little drawing materials, and you're waiting for the water to boil so you can throw the corn in. You can sketch for 5 minutes.
Wow.
And you can begin to feel that peacefulness of processing things. And then you throw some words in there, and it becomes a way of processing a lot of what the world is, the things that are happening, and even you can look back on them years later and go, oh, wow.
Right.
Which is kind of back to these paintings that you've got on the wall here.
Yes.
For 25 years of my life, and I look at it and it's like, wow, that was me. I mean, it still is me, and I see that painting and it's as raw as it was then.
Yeah.
And you can have that in your own little sketchbook.
Right. And
That's
then
in your corner of
looking
your
back.
kitchen. And it gives you a way. I mean, it's really kind of a self-therapy session,
for
really.
sure.
It is amazing if you start writing down some of these things and you start seeking. I always tell people to seek 3 good things. Anytime you feel stressed, or at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, find 3 good things. They could be as simple as my socks are cozy and warm. It can be that
that's so
simple.
awesome. Yes,
Or I
but
made a
it
new
is.
friend today, or something giant, obviously.
Right.
But at any given point in time, you can retrain your brain if you start seeking good in the world.
Yes.
You can retrain your brain to actually look for the good stuff.
Right.
Because there's plenty of bad stuff. I'll pretend it doesn't exist.
Right.
But if you get your little corner sunny enough in whatever color it is for you, then you can come out and one-on-one, each one of us. I mean, some people have a big platform, but most of us are just ordinary one-on-one types, right? Yeah. And each interaction each day that you make with each person ripples out to other people. That how often do you walk by and you see somebody smiling and you didn't even talk to them.
Right.
You're like, you feel good.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, that person was really happy.
Yeah. Right.
And it doesn't always have to be happy. Sometimes it's deep listening. Sometimes it's hearing somebody or seeing. You truly see somebody.
That's right.
And I think those kinds of things are get your little sunny corner and then go out and listen to somebody else. Be aware of them. Make eye contact. Just observe and be tuned in and quiet down a little bit. Some of this chatter of this. It's such a busy world.
It's such a busy world. That needs to be your next exhibit. It's such a busy world.
I love it.
Yeah, I can see you. I mean, when I first met you, we were talking about you being on a boat in Seattle.
Oh, right.
Right? And you're talking about being there and all the boats are going out. Things are getting tough. And here they are.
Yes.
Like fleeing the scene. And then there you are planted, right, in your little place.
Yes.
Which, I mean, for me, I have this whole thing around a theology of place. Right? How place sometimes grounds you when all the static and chaotic energy around you is really trying to push you to have the same inertia to flee the scene.
Yeah.
Right? And that can be a really valid, just response when things are busy and the world is chaotic. But what a gift to have been prepared inside your own skin and bringing your sunny corner to your own world.
Right.
Where you can be this light while the people are fleeing, while the the boats are coming in and going, the tumultuous life, right, that we have created, especially in the Western civilized culture. But what a gift it is for even the next generation to see that there are multiple ways, right, of living life, but you also have your own power to stand in your own corner, to stay on your boat and sort of watch, because the waves are always coming and going. I can see sort of when you talked about that, this image that we are all on our own boats, right? But sometimes the boats are, happy and people are excited and there's a parade coming when you look around. And sometimes the boats are, you have your own flag and your solitary pen and paint out there.
Well, and I did have my ukulele on the boat.
Oh.
And I would play and the music would ripple out across, I mean, literally.
That's awesome, right?
Right? Yeah. And I think there is also that. I mean, you see those things like where, a violin player playing in the subway will calm people. There are ways to share that peacefulness with others too.
Yeah, which is huge. I mean, thinking of you talking about just this urban sketching opportunity and then the little shoebox. My daughter is an artist. She's 10 and she has always just really, she's art. So paper, pen, paint everywhere. And she is our little sort of like mess. We call her our dirty dinosaur because she is always like, she's playing the dirt. But every day, I mean, she has pens and paint everywhere in the house. There's some all over the place and I'm always collecting it. But she sits, we have this little breakfast, kind of bar where we're getting ready for the morning. And anytime she's got the pen or the markers and she's drawing. She's doing it
exactly
on her own.
That.
She is doing it.
And that's what I'm trying to encourage people to do, is to help you figure out figure out life, right? And it children have this wonderful gift of, like, your daughter doesn't sit there and go, oh, I'm not good enough.
No,
because children do. And so I'm trying to bring people back to that too. Yes. You are good enough.
You are.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can color splotch of, these colors feel good to me. I mean, it doesn't have to be any drawing of a thing ever. Yeah. But that's what the urban sketching part is too, is just that you have your little bug out bag with all your supplies here in this old backpack or whatever, and you're ready to go anytime,
Yeah.
And so giving people the tools to find a little bit of peace and share a little bit of peace. Yeah. But then you said something else too. Now, the other thing I think is interesting is the ancestors and what you leave for people.
Oh.
I have a great-great-grandmother who was a painter. And my mom always said, she used to say, paint your way through it. And when my dad was in Vietnam, Mom did that. She painted her way through it. Wow. And then just recently, I received this great-grandma's paintings from a distant cousin who was like, I don't know what to do with these.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. And it's a very interesting thing that you leave something. Have you ever found like a box of love letters or something that's in somebody's handwriting, right? Think about if you create some kind of watercolor journals or something about a trip that you took or about the way you felt about something.
Right.
Think about what that is to future generations who know you a little bit. Like, I sort of know this great-grandmother.
Yeah, in a new way.
Because
also.
I see what colors she chose and how she pushed her paintbrush around. I mean, it's a really fascinating, even for me to see these 25-year-old paintings, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of know her.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I know her.
You know her. You're connected to her in other ways anyway, but then this deep sense of, energy lives on. Right? This whole putting your positivity out there, that light finds you. Right. And so now it's like the epigenetics of art, right? Yeah. It's imprinting on you, and then you're knowing a person.
Well, and I'll be walking down the streets and somebody will hug me. And it's like, I don't seemingly know you at all, right? But they have one of my paintings and they live with it every day. Oh, and it fills their life about, all this color that I use and everything. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to do, that it makes a difference to people.
Well, I want to ask you about, as we're talking about this, and then your show here, these liminal spaces, right? We start out with Gene Mason, that a lot of the world you said would know, right?
They know
these
that.
iconic musicians.
That's what I do.
Then we have this transition. Yeah. There are a few transitions in there. Obviously, we have this beautiful canyon that just captivates you, right? And then you have some opportunities to really live into the deep sort of emotional traumas of your own experiences.
Yes.
Right? So talk to us about, what does it mean to be an artist putting this out there and then continuing to do and push through with your art?
Yeah.
at each of those phases. I would
love
love
that.
to hear you share
Well,
about
and
that.
I love the fact that you guys have given me this opportunity to hang that stuff. I mean, typically galleries don't want to see your old work. That just doesn't come. That doesn't come to be. It is very interesting when you consider like what pieces got kept over time.
That's such a
Because
great-
you know, I push them out. I used to do several solo shows per year.
Yeah.
In New York or in New Orleans, and,
Right.
you know,
All over the place.
all over the place. They were created to be sold. So the pieces that got kept, that becomes kind of interesting. So
Yes.
that's a really cool thing to be able to put it up this way. So let's see. There are a couple of pieces. There's one in particular that's never been shown before, and it's called Surrender. And it is a piece that, you know, kind of I don't know, how do angels speak to you? I don't really know. I couldn't tell you that. People
Yeah.
are like, what'd you hear? It's like, I don't know what I heard. I don't know what I heard, but
This is
I
it.
knew something.
Yeah.
Right. And there's angst. And I created it after our son had an aneurysm. Perfectly healthy kid.
Right.
Just boom, done. He had no idea it happened.
Right.
And he was gone.
Yeah.
And so that piece is here. It's never been out in public. But I suspect other people have their stories of whatever that you can see that the angels are all kind of wrapped around this figure.
yes.
You know, it's pretty intense.
It's
and
beautiful
It's
and chilling. And
Yeah.
it speaks.
and sometimes I just have to turn it around. It can't be in my studio.
Yeah.
You know, the one prior to that is actually prior to that in time as well. It's called Wild Angels. A lot of people do know that piece from the past because I actually created that for when our older son went to boot camp.
Yeah.
And my mom was having heart surgery at the same time, and my dad said, "Don't come yet. Wait till she's recovering." Right. So I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But I can paint.
Right.
I cannot go bother him at
Fix
boot
or
camp,
help.
right? You know, so I painted, and
Yeah.
so it is a figure sort of jumping this, you know, go for it. You've got, and the angels. One of them is sort of covering her eyes. You're like, are you paying attention? I mean, you're watching, right? You know, and the figure's sort of falling into her hair. It's like, are you paying attention? Yeah. And it was actually from some country song. When he left for boot camp, the music came on when I got in my car, and it blasted this song, so I painted it. So so those are sort of the in-between pieces. And then the ones I'm most excited about on the left are all the new ones that
so
I have
amazing.
created to Christine's poetry. So she has written poetry to my work for years, and haikus.
Well, and she's brilliant in her poetry.
She's
I mean,
amazing. So
yes.
this time I took her poetry, I took her words, and I created to her words.
Wow.
And so those are the new pieces, and they're, again, her transition about life is different than my transition, is different than anybody else's transition, but these figures are falling through space, and they are loving even in the dark. Is just a beautiful, you're still and yet and still, and those kinds of words. She's got
Yes.
to those.
Buoyant and still there, discerning.
And you're like, you know, you're gonna balance at some point.
Yes.
And then the others, I love the light and the darkness. There's these, the three that are essentially landscapes. That there's always light in the darkness, and that there's this seen and unseen is such an interesting concept. You know, we believe in cell phones, obviously.
Right.
We believe in certain things that I can't see it, but
Right.
I know it's you. If you call me, I hear your voice. I know it's you. Why do we believe that? Right. And yet, like, this white light is what I've chosen to break the white light into the spectrum. And of course, that whole symbolism of the love and beauty and acceptance also as a multi-layered part of it, but that there's always in this white light, all those colors are there. They're always in the same order.
Oh my gosh.
They are always in the same order. There is order to the chaos. You can't see the color in the white light, but we know it's there. And so I've tucked it into the dark corners of the paintings. The one, it's kind of coming through this person. So the sunlight is coming through that. And I think it is that, like, white light comes through us.
Oh,
and
it does.
we have a job to show its true colors, you know. So those paintings are, and it's a transitional, the reason we're calling it liminal is because, yes, the music, that's what everybody knows. That's what I have made my reputation on for the last 25 years. And I'm doing a lot of things that are deeper, and that's what's exciting. That depth, I think, is where, that's that is fun. It's exciting.
It's exciting in a way that's not like, oh, look at the sunflowers. It's like when I've just seeing those 3 landscape pieces, which I think is so interesting and not quite nuanced enough to name what you're actually seeing, right? In a landscape, sometimes you see something expected, right? And it's so beautiful. Well, that's exactly what happens. But then you see what your eyes give you permission to really name, right? The underside, like the rainbow, the light, right? Both the light and the dark, which obviously in my own kind of work in the way that I show up in the world, it's wholeness versus longing for being reconciled to something, right? And so you have the opportunity to see both. You juxtapose in a great way that life essentially offers all the things that we need, but so much brokenness sometimes creates barriers for people accessing light, right? So when you stand before one of these paintings, you're both hit with the shadow side that everyone has experienced, some kind of grief or some kind of dark or some kind of lack of being able to engage the light. And then here, overwhelmingly, as promised, is this gateway into the love, the beauty, right? And so, I mean, I look at those and I get chills because I think it's not painting, it is art that's living through you, right? Through Christine's words, through experience, through all of the things that you have, a collector of stories yourself. And you have decided, you know what? At this point, I'm going to put all those stories in this painting.
Well, and I think it's a beautiful thing that those stories come through a writer like Christine and a lot of the books that I read and things like your sermons, that kind of thing, where that's where those ideas come from. So it's like one, even the music I listen to while I paint, right? They all dance through and they come out of my brush. They just magically appear out of my brush.
Right.
But sometimes I mean, even with the ones that with Christine's words, I was like, those are your paintings. Yeah. You made those. I mean, I did push that brush around, but she made them.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
And it is a really important part that we realize that everything we do, you have a way of approaching it with love and light, or you have a way of approaching it with, anger and grumpiness, right?
Right.
And each one of us can essentially push that brush around.
That is
however you want to push it.
However.
Right? Push it to good.
Right.
Make a difference. Share it with somebody. And each of us one-on-one makes a difference in the world.
Oh, and I want to leave us with this story that you shared about kind of the collective approach to, right? That you hold the brush, but you're always interpreting. Right? You were painting that in your studio, and the little child who came to visit you multiple times. You have to share this. It was so powerful in the way that you just described.
Well, yeah. So he came in, and I had just taken the painting with the water, and I just put water. It was a path,
right?
And the path wasn't working, so I painted water over the top, and the rocks were floating. Is this the one you're talking about? Okay.
Yes, I love
it. The child says, "Oh, I love it how the rocks are floating on the water," and I said, "Well." Oh, okay, come back in 5 minutes. And so I sunk the rocks. I basically created some turquoise up underneath, some orange rocks underneath the water. And it's that, they said, oh, you did a good job. And I said, well, we did a good job. Thank you for, it is that. There is that give and take of everything we do in life. And I think to recognize that everybody influences each other. And even with this sketching thing that I'm so captivated with right now. When I was first invited to do that in Seattle, I was like, well, why would I do that? I have shows and deadlines and things that sell. Why would I sketch in a little book? Right. It's been a huge influence in my life, and the people I've met all over. I travel all over. I always go find urban sketchers. You learn things from everybody everywhere. Right. We all do. We are all influenced by the people around us all the time. By things people say, by things people do, by the way they smile at you. You can make a difference by smiling at people here and there. I mean, it's just not that hard.
It's so true. It's just not that hard. Right. Oh my gosh, I love it. We talk all the time about kind of this balance of the busy, chaotic world and either, I always say this, like failing forward. Like you might smile and someone doesn't smile back. You know what?
Right.
You are moving forward, right? Faith moves us forward. Love moves us forward. So you really can't do harm by putting that positivity out there.
Yeah.
Someone may not receive it.
Right.
They may not,
or they're not ready
appreciate it.
to, and they might receive it like 3 days later. They're like, oh
Right.
yeah, well, okay, or maybe never,
Or
but,
maybe never. But
maybe.
that's not our responsibility.
No, you still have to do
Create
it.
your corner. Let light flow.
Right. Make a difference, one person at a time. Yeah.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
One person at a time.
It does.
I know. Well, friends, we are here with Jean Mason talking about community and belonging and art and the beauty it is just to live and share life. I'm so thankful to have you. Thank you for bringing your art, but bringing your sunny presence, your yellow corner. We're going to do our best to really infiltrate that corner with everyone. We are having an open reception hosting Jean here on October 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. We are so excited about that. But if you haven't seen or you haven't been in Countryside in the last couple of weeks, come and take time to explore that art. It's not only art, it is this provocative investment in the human soul. I think it tells this really amazing story about the self that sometimes we're excited to know and sometimes we're hesitant to believe is true. And that's really reflecting your beauty with those brushstrokes and just your family story and the way you engage friendship, with Christine and Urban Sketchers. So friends, please do come and experience this amazing art show. Jean Mason, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here today.
Oh, what a gift. Until next time, it takes a village. We'll see you soon.